Hello, everyone. It is Victoria Mattia, and we are on the Mom Care Coach podcast. I hope that you have had a wonderful last few weeks. So, what I wanted to do is to do a really quick review and then talk about what our topic is for today. So, the name of this episode, I believe we are on episode 12, and the name of this episode is Post Holiday Extravaganza. And our one big idea is how to be healthy, wealthy, and wise in 2025. Oh, have a feather. So I hope that you are doing awesome. So those are of you, some of you I know are watching me on YouTube. Others of you are listening to me on the podcast. And the last few weeks, let's see, the last time we spoke, we were in the thick of the holiday slash holy days season in December. If you are watching me live or interacting in January, you will know that this is the second week of January 2025. And the last few weeks, many of us have been really busy and recuperating and celebrating for another calendar year, another Gregorian calendar year. So this is very exciting time, this time of year, I always find. And so the last time we spoke, we were talking about limbic calming. We spoke about our four intentional needs, which are sleep, movement, mindset, and nutrition. We spoke about how those are our anchors and how we can use those four intentional needs to tether us so that we can stay calm in our mind, receive restorative rest, have joyful movement in our life, and stay nourished and have a nourished body. Those are the goals. So, the only way to achieve a goal is to tether us to the daily healthy habits to reach that goal. And in this case, our four intentional needs, which are our anchors, is what we're going to use to tether us to our goal so that we will eventually reach that goal because we are going in that direction. We're going towards the goal. That's the direction that we are going in. And we talked about in previous episodes that, if we're on a highway and the highway is leading us to a particular destination, unless we get off of that destination or off of that highway, we are going to end up in that destination or at that destination rather. So post-holiday extravaganza. So this is going to be pretty much a power-packed episode. We're going to talk about a few different things, and we're going to talk about the entire the four intentional needs. We're going to talk about all of them actually in this particular episode. Generally speaking, we like to focus on one, but we're going to focus on all four of them. And then you're going to see what I'm going to show you. So what we're wanting to do is to give a little bit of background. Right now, we want to talk about the difference between a wish and a goal, what that means, because so many people, are setting goals. But by this time, second week of January, anywhere between now to that first week of February, many people all around the world have set that goal to the side. And if you are like me, where you have a goal, but you really want to achieve your goals for this year, there are some things that we must understand. So, when it comes to a goal, it's different than a wish. The difference is there's a plan behind it. Okay. So, if you're wanting to achieve your goal, you have to have a plan. It needs to be simple enough that you can do it, even on the hardest of days. Let me repeat that. Your goal must be able to be broken down into daily, simple, healthy habits. In order to achieve that, you must have a plan. Okay, so if your plan is to get better quality sleep, then we need to have a plan on how to achieve that. What about on nights where your child or your children didn't sleep very well, or maybe, someone's sick in the household, or maybe you're coming back from vacation or you're going on vacation. Those different kinds of abrupt changes in the schedule can, for some people and sometimes can create enough of a change in your life that can uproot you from that goal, even for a little while. And sometimes when that uprooting happens, sometimes people can start to feel like, well, maybe I can't achieve this goal. We don't want that to happen. And we also must understand it's important for us to give ourselves grace if there are times where, you know, we have not acted in according to what it is we are wanting to achieve. We must understand that it's never too late. We can continue to follow the steps that we have aligned with in our healthy habits to allow us to keep going in the direction of that goal. That's why we focus on our four intentional needs. Sleep is an intentional need. It will get us to having restorative rest. It will naturally lead us to that, but we won't be able to get there if we are not focusing on it every day. It's really important for us to focus on these things on a daily basis so that we will eventually get to our goal. So let's talk about a post-holiday extravaganza. What does that mean? What am I meaning by saying that? Well, basically, I am declaring that I want to have this really beautiful 2025. I also understand that in order for that to happen, I need to, number one, know what it is I am trying to achieve. And I need to have a plan set in place so that even on the hardest of days, I have simple, healthy habits that's going to continue to give me forward movement towards that goal. And I also want to make sure I understand what the plan is. Okay. So let's look at sleep. So if I'm wanting to have really incredible sleep, as an example, because it is something we're wanting to um, have forward motion in, especially on this podcast, then I need to make sure that number one, I am creating an environment where that can be conducive to sleep. I want to have blackout curtains for myself. I want to make sure that my children are in bed at the time that they need to be. I want to make sure that they have eaten and are settled and have had whatever, supplements or whatever we're doing so that I'm able to have the time to take care of myself and have my own nighttime routine. I want to make sure that the time that from my last meal to the time that I am wanting to be in bed is between 2 and 3 hours. So that once I get in bed, my body isn't trying to break down food and digest it when I'm trying to be getting asleep, because that can cause a delay. I want to make sure that I am wearing comfortable clothes. I'm wanting to make sure that the temperature in the house is set between 68 to 72 degrees. I want to make sure that it's quiet. I want to make sure that I have not had light for the last at least an hour. For me, I prefer 2 hours, but at least an hour. I haven't had bright lights from like a TV, a laptop, an iPhone, an iPad. I want to make sure that that bright light has not been going on in my eyes or anywhere on my body. I want to make sure that I have tried to darken the room if that's possible. I like to use Himalayan salt lamps. If you have dimmer switches for your lighting, that's also a really great option. I want to make sure I've done everything I can so that my body, my environment, my mind, everything is quieted down. So it's created a space that is conducive for sleep. Now, even with all of that, if there are times where I'm having difficulty, I want to still be able to give myself grace. And I want to have like some different things I can do. Maybe I need to journal. Maybe I need to have like a relaxing tea. Maybe I need to listen to some soft music that is conducive for relaxing the mind. I want to make sure that I have done all of those kinds of things that's going to really help my body. This is after we have gone through a season of a lot of different things that have had changes. So this episode would be really good, like if you're coming back from vacation as well. So that's an example for sleep. The next thing I want to talk about are products, actually, products and supplements that can be helpful. So, when it comes to sleep, that's just one of our intentional needs. Another one is our mindset. We've talked about different books. I am still working my way through um, a really great book. I believe it's called, let me look at it actually. It is on Audible and it has to do with calming the mind, stopping the spiral in our mind. So I'm actually going to look that up really quickly now to see the name of that book that I have. I really like It's called Stop the Spiral and it's a devotional and it's by someone named Jenny Allen. It's a really awesome daily devotional. Each day takes like 3 or 4 minutes to listen to. And then there are some Bible scriptures that you can read that goes along with that devotional. It comes in like a hardback or softbound as well as on Audible. I really, really like that. So that's one of them that I am reading right now for my personal mindset. Another one that I am reading is called Fast Like a Girl by Dr. Mindy Peltz. I am absolutely loving that book. It has to do with nutrition, but it also has to do with mindset. It's about intermittent fasting and how we can use intermittent fasting for natural healing and rejuvenation and helping us to achieve the weight that we want to. So I am putting all of that around mindset. Another thing another book I'm actually reading is called Super Gut. And that's a really good book as well. And it's all about helping your gut, which is known as your second brain, to help you to feel your best and to fuel you so that as we age, we feel really good. Now, if I recall, we have mentioned that particular book as well. And I wanted to go in here and get you the author of that book. It's by Dr. William Davis. It's called Super Gut. He is also the author of a book that he wrote several years back called Wheat Belly. I don't know if you read that one, but that was really awesome and he's actually a cardiologist. And it's all about how, you know, the foods that we're eating and how it is affecting our health. And in his, line of work as a cardiologist, he has seen many people that have come in for heart issues, and he's been able to get back to the root cause. And a lot of that, not everything, a lot of that has its root cause back in what we actually eat and consume. And in the book, Super Gut, it's really awesome because he goes into our gut and nutrition and even something called age reversal. So I'm really interested in that. So those are the books I'm reading. And then next month, I have a book that I want to read, and it's called Good Energy by, I think her name is Dr. Casey Means. Now you may be asking, okay, so why are we talking about this? Well, we're talking about a post, holiday extravaganza, getting back to what it is we really are wanting to achieve, especially in a whole new year. We want to talk about those four intentional needs as our anchors, and we want to talk about the healthy daily habits that we need to have put in place, put in our lives so that we can achieve these big goals. And so we need to go back to the root of why are you listening to this podcast? Why did I start this podcast? And it was all because I want to be able to help people, specifically mothers, with their self-care that are on a journey, a self-care journey. They have children on the autism spectrum. They love their children. They're doing everything they can for their children. And they realize at some point they also need to be doing everything they can for themselves. That's what the purpose of this podcast is all about. And so I want to share with you things that I am learning and things that you can do in your life to help you. So, the Super Gut book is also on Audible. I have it as an ebook, but you can also listen to it. Dr. Mindy Pelt's Fast Like a Girl, she also has a new one called Eat Like a Girl, also on Audible. You can also get a physical book for that as well. And then Dr. Casey Means, who has good energy that I will be talking about in future episodes. Um, that is all also talking about healing your body, bringing down inflammation, minimizing sugar. And all of that is going to lead me to our next anchor, which is all about nutrition. So, we've talked about or discussed a little bit about wishes versus goals. A wish is just something you want, but a goal is something that has a plan. It's a desire that you have, and you've created a plan on how to get started and what you need to do on a daily basis. You've been able to take bite-sized pieces of this huge goal that you have and put it in a way where you're able to look at it every day and to have it work in your life in a way that is actually going to birth it. You're able to birth it and bring it to fruition. Um, so that's what we're wanting to do. Okay. That all comes from knowing who you are and what you're wanting to achieve. And when it comes to nutrition, I feel like nowadays, here in January, in this year, there's so much that's already happened, but I feel like it's a really hot topic when it comes to food. So there's someone called Food Babe, and she's really popular on social media and even in our news programs. And she has brought to light a lot of the things that a lot of us moms have already known and have been aware of, but she's brought to light how a lot of the foods, especially Kellogg's and their cereals, how here in America, they put added ingredients, toxins, okay, toxins in their cereals. And these same cereals that they sell in other countries, in the UK and in Europe, and they do not have these same toxic ingredients in them. And she has been lobbying and spreading the word of how this is unfair and this is wrong. And I really feel like this year, food, especially starting like last year, food is becoming this really political tinged ideology. You know, it's not just something that you're consuming, but people are becoming more aware of what is at the end of their fork for themselves and for their families. And that is so important. Okay. So years ago, I have a story. Years ago, um, I know of a lady, and she has a child on the autism spectrum, a son, and she was using particular um, a particular makeup company and skincare company. And this particular company is very popular. You can get these products from high-end department stores. That's even if that's even a thing now. You can get it from high-end retailers. And she was using these products on her skin, her body, her face, and in her makeup. And it was a new product line that she was using. And she noticed her son started having these behaviors, and she was trying to figure out, what's going on. His behaviors had increased. He's nonverbal, and she's trying to figure out like why is he not feeling well? Like what's going on? What's, become different? And her son, she took her son to the doctor, and they ran a lot of different tests on him, trying to figure out what's going on with him at that moment. And come to find out through a lot of different testing, they discovered that the makeup and the skincare and the body care that she was using, it was leaving some residue, on him. Because if you don't know, it takes 26 seconds or less for anything that's actually on your skin to get absorbed to your bloodstream and your organs and to go throughout your entire body. That's why nicotine patches were so effective for people. And different patches to get medication they use in hospital to the body because it can get there much quicker than if you were to take a pill or something like that. Um, so she had been using this particular line of products, and it was a new line, and they were able to find in him these ingredients. And so what she realized was that these ingredients, because he would come and give her a hug and a kiss every day, was being introduced into his system. And it is not, it's very common knowledge nowadays how a lot of our children, especially with special needs, their immune systems are very compromised. And so if you have an immune system that's very compromised and sensitive, then these different toxic ingredients can be introduced into their body and they can have reactions in a multitude of ways. And so that is what was going on with him. And he had to do some different things to help release those toxins out of his body. But I remember hearing this story years ago from a friend. I actually know this person. And I remember how powerful that was to think about how our bodies can absorb, which gives a whole different spin when you start to think of environmental toxins, right? And the things that we breathe in and um, all of the different things that can affect our physical body. But I said all that to say, as we are evaluating what we want to achieve in this new year of 2025, then we need to look at all the different ways when it comes to our four intentional needs: sleep, mindset, like maybe looking to see what kind of podcasts, other than mine, of course, mine, but also different podcasts are going to recommend different kinds of books, different kinds of things that's going to help you. I'm reading some new Audible books, reading some physical books as well. And then also looking at our nutrition and how that's impacting us and keeping in mind, okay, we got to read the labels. We can't just assume that someone else is looking out for us. We have to read the labels so that we are making sure that what we are trying to consume is actually what we are consuming, not just a lot of different additives as well. And on that, we also need to make sure that the supplements that we are taking in don't have a lot of added ingredients. We need to be looking so that we are minimizing extra sugars and extra added things that we just don't want. And the online shop that I have that I've mentioned a few times before, I love it because the the ingredient policy is very transparent. Meaning, yes, it has third-party testing, but it's also a B Corp, which means it believes in empowering um, not just the company itself to make the money that they want to, but also the people, like the people that actually work to get the products to market, and then also making sure that the ingredient policy in these products are what they say that they are. Everything is fair trade, and it is halal certified, kosher, gluten-free, non-GMO. All of those things are really, really important. And so that is something that we want to be aware of. And we also want to make sure that the skincare, the body care, and the nutrition that we are putting in ourselves and our families is nutrient dense. It's actually what it is that is going to fuel our body. It's going to actually help us, and it's not loaded with lots of ingredients that are just extras that we don't really need anyway. Okay. So when we think of being healthy, wealthy, and wise in 2025, and from the viewpoint of our four intentional needs, we want to look at, yes, nutrition, and we also want to look at movement. And I'm going to share some products with you that I do carry on my online shop. I am just going to share like some of the ingredient policies, what you're wanting to look for. So when it comes to nutrition, especially if you are anywhere between like 35 to 50, which are, I know the ladies that listen to my um, podcast and watches me are usually somewhere between that age demographic. And one of the things that's really important for us to make sure is that we're getting enough protein. So I love having an option for vegan protein simply because I'm vegan, and even though not everybody is vegan, I know that that protein is clean. It doesn't have filler ingredients, and it's going to be able to be accessible to a lot of different people. So what's great about that is made with ingredients. It has pumpkin seed, pea protein, quinoa in it. What makes that really great is that it is a whole protein, it's a whole meal. And what makes that really beautiful, it's also easy to break down in the body. And when we're thinking about ourselves, often our kids take little sips here and there, and we want to be able to have the option to be able to give them different things. If that's something we want to do, we don't have to, but it's still an option. I like the idea of being able to make food as accessible as possible. Another thing I like about having protein on hand is that it is something that you can keep on your shelf. Nowadays, with the weather being as it is, natural disasters, you want to be able to have some things that are shelf stable, even if you're wanting to be all natural and organic and all of that, just like myself, just like you're going to keep extra water in your house. You may want to keep some extra protein so you'll have full meals available, even if you can or whatever. It's just another source. And so I think that's really important. Another thing that I like to talk about are vitamins. So one of the products that's on my online shop has is loaded with B vitamins, and I think that it's really important because that helps you with energy. It's really hard to have daily habits to support a long-term goal. If you have a vision that's a year out, 5 years out, or even longer, our years are made up of months, which are made up of weeks, which are made up of days, which are made up of minutes, which are made up of seconds. And the reason why that's important to understand is that our life is our life that is happening right now. But if we don't have the strength and the energy that we need to sustain us and to equip us on a daily basis, it's really hard to reach any goal for ourselves. And so that's one of the things that I think is really important. And another product that I think is really important is having some prebiotics, probiotics, and enzymes, especially if it's all in one, it makes it really nice. I also like to make a lot of things in my household. And I'm gonna have like another episode that talks about like making your own cleaning supplies because it can be very economical and you know what ingredients are being used. I also like to make like my own um maybe not so much yogurts, but I like to make probiotic rich cheeses that are vegan. I like to do that as well. But having like an all-in-one that has prebiotics, probiotics, and enzymes is really nice because that is going to support your gut, especially as I am reading about super gut and the importance of giving your body a plethora of natural probiotics and enzymes that helps you to break down your food. It's so important as I'm learning that you're not what you eat, you are what your body is able to absorb. And so when we give our body the ingredients that it needs to be able to do its job, then it is amazing what it's able to do. I think one of the first episodes that I did, I talked about an article that was written in Disability Scoop. It talked about that there was some, you know, long experiment. I don't want to use the word experiments, but there were some long tests that were conducted on um, soldiers that had seen combat and how they were comparing these soldiers that had seen combat these different stress tests that were given to them and how it compared to mothers of children who have autism. And it compared these moms who had kids that were teenagers and adults, and they were comparing, they did these stress tests, not experiments, but stress tests. And there was this equal comparison. And I feel like that it's because you have been under long-term stress for such a long time. And I remember saying on that particular episode, you know, it's so important to be able to give your body what it needs to recover, right? We've all seen people that have been under stress or had particular stressful events, but the consequences of those events last them a really long time, especially those that were never given an opportunity to recover. We're not given the bare essentials to be able to fuel their mind and their body with what it needs to be their best. And so that's what I am feeling that is so important, especially on this podcast, to be able to share with people, to educate people, so that you have what you need to be able to make the best choices for you and your family. So that's what I wanted to mention when it comes to nutrition. We want to make sure we're getting enough protein. We want to make sure we're getting enough prebiotics, probiotics, and enzymes. And then also, especially those B vitamins are so vital. Also, it's important to make sure we're having enough greens. We need to have our fruits and vegetables. And there are products like that on my online shop that is so powerful because it is a shelf-stable product. It's not a product that can last forever because it's real food, it's real protein, it's, real vitamins, real supplements. Things should have a expiration date if it's real food. So there is that. But what's also nice is that because it's a powder, you can take it and put it in water and you can use it not just for yourself, but for your family. And it gives you so many fruits and vegetables with all of these different micronutrients and enzymes and minerals that are really wonderful for the body so that it helps you to feel your best. Also, we want to be able to give our body an opportunity to cleanse. So having teas that can help to cleanse herbs, real herbs that can help to cleanse our body, to get out things that's not serving us, things that makes us sluggish and not feel our best. That's really important to be able to do. Okay, and so we want to be able to have these teas. We want to be able to have cleanses that can cleanse our blood and our organs. We want to be able to do this. And I'm mentioning all of this because I do have a 30 Days to Healthy Living program on my website, and it has all of these different products in it, and it's really, really amazing. And what's really great is that it also has product sheets. So you could look at all of the ingredients and the minerals and the vitamins and everything that is in there that is so good for you. But although that's really wonderful, nutrition is so important, and this is a really great time of the year to do that. Starting out, feeling your best and, feeling really great and being really nourished, that's really awesome. That is definitely a win-win. But the next thing we also want to consider is body care and skin care, because as in the story that I shared with you, it was this particular lady's skincare and body care, her makeup, that was causing these issues for her son. She had just started using products from a very high-end retailer, and she started using the skincare and this makeup. And, for women, I read a statistic a year or two ago where it says that for the average woman here in America, she uses around 50 different products, 50 different, yeah, products before she actually leaves the house in the morning. Why? Because you have, washing your hair, drying your hair, setting your hair, conditioners, hairsprays, all of that, makeup, all of those different products for makeup, skincare, all the different products for skincare, neck cream, body creams, cleansers, shampoos. I mean, all of these different things. And the average woman, they said, use around 50 different products even before she's left the house in the morning. So when you think about that and the fact that it takes 26 seconds or less to be absorbed into the body, it's really important to make sure that what we're actually putting on our body is clean and doesn't have all of that, doesn't create a burdensome toxic load for our body or for our children or people that we love in our household. And the only way to do that is to make sure that the products that you're actually putting on your face, your skin, your body is clean and made with clean ingredients and doesn't have all of these extra things in it, these filler ingredients, these toxic ingredients. We don't want any of that stuff in our products. And so that's why on my website, I also have products that can help you with that as well. So these are of course, different suggestions. I am not saying, you must do this, but I am saying that you must read the back of your labels, whether you never go to my website or not, and you just go shop at your local grocery store. It doesn't really matter. What matters is what's on the back of that. And what's interesting is that there is some, your grocery store only has what is popular in your area. Online, you can get what is popular, um, and whatever, depending on where you're going and what you're looking at, there's a price point, and then there's also, is it fair trade? Is it organic? Is it natural? There's all these different things you want to ask yourself. And so for me, I like to give you all the knowledge I have when it comes to certain areas. And I like also for myself to have convenience, like a one-stop shop. And so that's why I love that I carry all of these things on my website. So we talked about skincare, we talked about body care, also hair care, same thing. You want to make sure that you're using clean products for your hair as well. We talked about nutrition, we talked about mindset. All of these things are really awesome. And then I also want to talk about the wealthy part of what we're our big idea, healthy, wealthy, and why. So we talked about the importance of being healthy. We talked about wisdom has to do with knowledge. And then I believe all wisdom comes from God, you know, the Most High. And then the knowledge is how to apply what it is that you're hearing. So that's really important. So, anyway, the next part has to do with wealth. So, wealth can be a lot of different things. You know, what I am referring to when it comes to wealth, thinking about right now as well as in the future. So there's different ways of making money online. I mean, people talk about like side hustles, those kinds of things. There's generally like affiliate marketing or network marketing or having some kind of online shop, or there's a lot of different things. But basically, there's just a few things you want to think about. When it comes to this new year, you know, I've heard people talk that are like experts in the field of finances. I've heard people talk about there's different things you want to think about when you're looking for an additional stream of income, especially with our economic climate. We don't know. There's so many different things. Lots of shops are closing doors, brick and mortar businesses, a lot of people that they thought they would have, security in their job, it's not as secure as they thought it once was. And so it's good to keep your options open. I think it is wise, it's wisdom, keeping your options open, even when it comes to wealth and finances, especially if you have a child with special needs. You want to make sure that you have everything that they will need in the future, as well as yourself. And if, something were to happen where you're not able to bring in the amount of income that you are making right now, you want to be able to think about, okay, what are some other options I can do? So to end, I want to make sure that I give you that information as well when it comes to when you're looking for additional streams of income. Number one, you want to make sure there's timing and trends, meaning like whatever it is you're trying to do, that there is a need for it. So a lot of these different additional streams of income are service-based. Is there a need for whatever it is you're looking into? Is this the appropriate time, right? There may be a need, but is there an appropriate time right now? Is this the appropriate time right now for what it is you're trying to help people with, to serve? The second thing, is it user friendly? Is it consumable product? So it may be the timing may be great. It may be trending and something that people will like to have, but is it something that is user friendly, like the average person? Are they able to purchase it? Or is it so expensive that only the elite could purchase it? That makes a difference. So you want to think about, is it user friendly, and are they consumable products? Meaning, is it something that you can sell, you know, like every month? So that people are needing to buy products every month? Or is it something like a person will only buy once in a while? And so you're constantly going out looking for more and more people to share the products that you have with. You want to think about that as well. And then, of course, the compensation plan, because even if it is amazing in all of the other ways, but the compensation plan isn't beautiful, then that's going to deter a lot of people because it's a business, right? If you are selling products, it needs to be worth your time, and it needs to be something that there's a win-win. People are needing to buy the products because it's going to help them and the income is going to help you. And so those are the things that you really need to think about when you are trying to create additional streams of income, when you're looking down the line and trying to think, okay, is this something I want to consider? And why do I bring this up now? Because it's January? Well, because there was a statistic that said it was just a couple of years ago that 50% of Americans are looking for additional streams of income. They're looking for ways to make more money apart from their 9 to 5 job. So, with that being said, we want to make sure when we are looking for additional streams of income, we want to make it worth our while. We want to do our research, and we want to make sure that because there's a lot of companies that right now that are closing their doors. How old is the company? Has it been around for just a couple of years, or is it 40 or 50 years old? We want to make sure that we are being wise with our choices and with our options, and making sure that what we're looking at is something that's going to fit in our lives and that's going to be resourceful and helpful for ourselves and others for years to come. So I hope that you have enjoyed this particular episode. You may have to listen to it a couple times because I did cover a lot. And so I hope that you have a really great rest of your week, and I look forward to talking to you next time. Happy 2025. Thank you. Bye bye.